Hello everybody, this is an adoption support channel, and today I'm going to chat to you about a situation that we've had in our home with a little girl coming to stay and how I've watched the reactions of my boys throughout that process. So I'm Nairi, I've got two adopted boys who are 11 and 12, nearly 12 and 13, and there's lots of videos on my channel about what the boys have been through and what they suffered from a trauma perspective. And so I thought it was really interesting when we've had to suddenly look after a little girl. We're not foster carers anymore, we used to be, and that's how the boys started their journey, through fostering, and then we adopted them. It's interesting to see how the boys react to a child coming into the home that they know is probably struggling a little bit. So this little girl's mum has got a very poorly baby, and therefore we've had to kind of take her on as a friend and an emergency, and we have support around us as well, but we're doing our bit right now, and she's staying overnight. And so I noticed, particularly with the younger one but also with the older one, to start with, that hypervigilance around the fact that we're taking on a child that maybe is feeling unhappy, and I can see how that potentially triggers in them that feeling of suddenly finding themselves in a place that they don't know, with strangers, and having to adjust. Now, whilst that happened many years ago for them, nearly 10 years ago for them, when they come into our home as emergency placements, it's obvious that that feeling of suddenly being abandoned or rejected still gets triggered in them. That's so obvious from the way that they reacted to the little girl coming. And the reason why I know that is the thousands of questions they've asked. So they all check out things like whether she's eating okay, whether she leaves her crusts, or what she likes to drink, and double checking back with us that we've noticed things. So I obviously have noticed what this little girl wants to do, and she's actually very easy. It's, in many senses, it's not like having a foster child in who has been neglected. This little girl's very easy, she eats well and she adapts well to a routine, but the boys are double checking to make sure that I know what I'm doing with her and talking back to me about things. So there was a yogurt, and my son was having the same yogurt, and he would say things like, I don't think the bits in the yogurt are very big in here. Now actually at that point the little girl was eating the yogurt fine, and then she just looked as if to say, there might be bits in here. But I think he was reflecting back how he would feel as a 3-year-old having a yogurt that might have bits in it, and kind of checking out with me that I'm thinking about those things. Now, as time has gone on, like this morning, we had our first night last night. We woke up this morning, and obviously the initial thing is they want to check out if she's okay. But once they've seen that she was happy and that she was dressed and that she'd slept okay, you can then see kind of like the emotional roller coaster that they're going through gradually become less, and then being able to concentrate and enjoy actually being with this little girl. Interestingly as well, the little one said how much he would like a younger sister, and he has said that before. They're always thinking about what it would be like now to have a younger child in the home, and for them not to be the two youngest adopted children. I said to him, it's good for you to think about those things, and it's exciting to think what it would be like to have a sister. But rather than to do that, let's try and enjoy having this little girl now, and you can have a short time of having how it feels to have that experience. And so this morning has a really lovely moment when he engaged really beautifully with this little girl, and they were playing with the Sylvanians together and chatting away about mummies and what is going to go in this house, and basically role playing together for her. The mummy was still around, again very interesting because the mummy is still around, and role playing for her that the family unit is still intact. That was happening as well today. My oldest son always sits back and waits for his chance, his moment to go in and engage. He's not as confident, but he is watching from the background how things are going. He's watching the positive interactions with my son and this little girl, and I just thought it was interesting as an adoption channel to reflect on the things that touch our children, that take them back to places that we don't know, which can cause anxiety. But also the positive side of this is that they are being able to care for a younger child, and they are able to watch my husband and I suddenly adapt to emergency situation and care for a younger child. And that's very reinforcing for them. It's very cathartic for them to know that we can do that, and almost reinforces to them that that's probably what we would have done for them. And when we were sat down for a meal yesterday, I had to come the end feed the little girl, so I avoided putting vegetables on the plate because I knew that was going to stop her eating everything, so I didn't do that. Then we cut the food up and the boys were both watching, and then come the end, when she got a little bit tired of bothering, I fed her a little bit, and I said out loud, this is what I used to do to the boys, this is what I needed to do to the boys when they were younger. And both boys commented and kind of joined in with that conversation, because they knew that in their hearts that's probably what I did do, but obviously they do have maybe internal memory of this, but not outworking memory of it. And so it's important for them to hear that. And I was encourage you, if you've got adopted children that are a little bit older, if you can get a baby into the house, you've got a friend with a baby, a relative or a younger child, and show them how you would care for that child or baby, and then talk to them about the fact that that's what you would have done for them if you'd had them as a baby, or that's what you did do for them when they were a baby, or that's what you did for them when they first came to you as a younger child. Then I'm sure that will be very, very helpful. So I hope you've enjoyed listening to that. Please check out my channel for all sorts of adoption topics, but there is one playlist on adoption and parenting that might interest you, and I will see you on my channel. Thank you for watching Adoption with Nairi.